I wish I had learned this truth many years ago. Be thankful for the days, good and bad, out on life's road.
All right, welcome to another episode of Warrior versus Zombie. I'm very excited to be here. For those who haven't joined us before, let me tell you a little bit about Warrior versus Zombie. First of all, as warriors, we know that success is a journey. It's not a destination. As warriors, we all have a history of ups and downs and wins and losses that all are part of making us who we are right up to this point, and they provide the foundation for our path forward. We all battle our internal zombies as well as those in our world. Plenty of those going around today. In each episode, I interview warriors. Today I have Dr. Ronit Moore, an amazing warrior on many levels, as I would say, and she is incredible. We do normally talk to health professionals, entrepreneurs, small business owners, artists, anybody that's a warrior. Everybody that's moving forward of their own intention is a warrior, and as a warrior, you're constantly battling the zombies, both inside and out. So we're going to talk to Ronit. She has an amazing story, and let me give you a little bit about her background before we get into it, because it's impressive to say the least. So Dr. Moore is a true warrior. She's a naturopathic doctor and entrepreneur. Her vision is to change the world one life at a time. The vision inspired her 17 years ago to lead a thriving corporate job, which actually her career was growing, expanding. I can relate to it in my own journey very, very much, and decided to become a functional health practitioner. We're going to get a little bit insight of what that really means here. And for those of you who don't know what a functional health practitioner is, and I need a little help on that myself. Since that time, she has amassed extensive clinical experience in nutritional and lifestyle counseling. Her journey began with her own health crisis 20 years ago, which led her to understanding and appreciation of the importance of an integrative and a functional approach to health, and the alignment of this approach to fulfilling her vision. Out of her crisis and healing experience, a deep and profound passion was born, a passion for inspiring and empowering others to heal on the deepest level, a passion for educating others as to the power diet and lifestyle choices have over their health, and as to the power of a functional approach has over true sustainable healing. Boy, that's pretty powerful in this time. We're going to really have some fun talking about that. She's created and launched three wellness business startups. The first she sold to an investor group, and the other two she currently owns and operates. The second is her primary clinical practice, Ronit Moore, ND, Functional Health and Spa. And the third is My Wellbeing Compass, which was launched in early 2018 along with her business partner, Dr. Russell Skinner, MD, and 50 other functional health practitioners throughout the Dallas Metroplex. They're building an unprecedented network that strives to empower and serve every dimension of wellness. Her clinical practice involves ongoing collaborations and partnerships with both medical and complementary physicians, many of which have joined her in My Wellbeing Compass. Through her clinical practice, writing, and lecturing, her network has helped thousands of people achieve their wellness goals. Her commitment to continuing expanding her vision has also inspired her to become a speaker and a prolific author. She has self-published several ebooks and regularly contributes to articles, different publications, and blogs. And today she's here and she's talking to us on Warrior versus Zombie. There's so much more I could tell you about her, but I really want to hear from Ronit Moore herself. Dr. Moore, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you. What a beautiful day. It's sunny outside, so...
Well, the first thing I've got to ask you, Dr. Moore, because I know our listeners haven't heard your very strong East Texas accent before. So tell me a little bit about where that comes from.
Yeah, so I'm originally from Israel. I was born and raised. I even served in the military in Israel. I actually know how to shoot an Uzi, so I always joke about it. I moved to the U.S. back in 1987. Wow, so many years ago. This month, actually, literally this week, I'm celebrating 33 years of moving here to the US. I originally came here to study, and I fell in love with this country. I fell in love with the people. I fell in love with what United States represent, and I decided that this is my home. Um, Although I still love Israel and most of my family is there, this is my home.
Yeah, you're truly a global citizen. We do know each other very well, and I got to know Dr. Moore as we were working together as kind of as a vision warrior on my well-being compass. So I do have a little bit of insight here, but I wanted to ask you, tell the audience about you are a global citizen. You've been in all over Europe and a lot of different places, as well as you have family. Do you not have family outside of Israel as well, like in France and some other places? That's pretty interesting this time, during this time in history.
Yeah, I still have family. Most of my family lived in France when I was growing up, but nowadays most of them relocated to Israel. There is still, I still have an aunt and several cousins living in Paris and Strasbourg in France. But other than that, I also have a nephew with his wife and two children. They live in San Diego, and everyone else lives in Israel.
Wow. So you're
Yeah.
definitely a global family, and I'm sure you've got a pretty broad perspective from all angles on all the craziness. It's interesting because when we started this whole warrior versus zombie, the first episode, we were just getting a glimmer of the what they called then the coronavirus, now COVID-19, and it's been a topic, a check-in topic for every episode so far. But I think in your case, I've been excited about having you here to talk to our audience because you kind of understand some things that we can do. And I'm going to get into that in the third segment here about what we can do in our lives to emerge from COVID-19 this time being stronger and more resilient than we can. So we'll talk about that in a minute. But tell me a little bit. I did kind of talk through some of the high points of your journey. In this segment, I kind of like to understand a little bit about some of the things you maybe overcome, the challenges you've had, as well as just what inspired you to move forward into doing what you're doing now, which is quite a pivot, if you will, from being a corporate executive, very successful corporate executive. And I know, having done this myself, you walked away from some money, and it's you decided at some point, as I know I did, that life isn't just about making money; it's about making a difference. And I can tell the audience with 100% certainty she is doing that in a big way on a daily basis in her practice. So tell me, how did that journey kind of happen? Just some of the high points, little.
Yeah. Well, I was born and raised in a very Western culture. I was raised to revere doctors, to almost religiously, blindly follow the medical system. And then one day, my cousin was diagnosed with cancer. And even though at the time I was already living in the US, I found myself being very involved because we were very close. We grew up best friends, and through a series of malpractice in Israel and many deadly mistakes that the doctors made over there, he was handed a pink slip with a terminal diagnosis of you have 3 to 6 months to live. And he was very young at the time, and he refused to accept that verdict. So he called me and he asked me if I can help him because he wants to explore alternative modalities. So he heard about someone in San Antonio, Texas, and he asked me if I can help him and drive him over there and host him. So that was my first encounter. Up to that point, I didn't even hear about alternative medicine, didn't hear about any of this. He gave me a list of a shopping list of items that I was supposed to buy for him that he can eat, and I didn't even know where to go. And I remember calling a friend and telling her I have a sick cousin that is about to land in Dallas, and I'm supposed to take him to San Antonio, and I have no idea where to buy all of these things. And my friend said, you know, there is a small store called Whole Foods. We were talking about 25 years ago, okay? So that was my first trip to Whole Foods, and literally the rest is history. I got sucked into the world of natural health and natural medicine, and I was fascinated by it. He ended up, in spite of everything, he ended up surviving for 5 years instead of 3 to 6 months. And till this moment, I believe that he could have continued to live if we knew what I know now. So that's how it all started. With my cousin being diagnosed with terminal cancer and me stepping into a small store called Whole Foods.
Wow. And this before you had your own?
That was 25 years ago, and I was still leading my corporate career. Yeah.
And then you had in your bio in what I covered in the beginning, then you had your own experience too, which kind of cemented that, right? Is that?
Yeah. So what happened is after that experience, I started, at the time there wasn't any social media or internet or anything. You actually had to take yourself to the library and borrow books and go to the bookstore and buy books. And I started reading books, and I became so fascinated that I decided I want to study in a more organized fashion. So I started studying for my Master of Science while I was still in the corporate world. And that passion literally started consuming me. And then I declared to God that my passion in life is helping people. This is what I want to do. And guess what happened next? I became sick, and I was very sick. I was handed an incurable disease diagnosis and sent home. And my first reaction was, of course, to be distressed and feel very sorry for myself. And the next reaction was, wait a moment, I think this is God's way of testing me and telling me, okay, so you want to help people, let's see you help yourself first. And I embarked on a journey. It was a year and a half of fascinating journey of learning so much about myself, about health, about the immune system, about the connection between my thoughts and emotions and my body. Wow, what a sublime concept. I didn't even realize there is a connection between my thoughts and emotions and my body, or between my diet and lifestyle choices and my health. So it was a fascinating journey. Instead of being depressed with everything that I was going through, I was actually very excited and full of gratitude. And on the other side, when I came out of it, I learned so much. I learned so much about forgiveness and compassion, and gratitude and faith. And I learned about the immune system. And I learned about how to reclaim my health, how to take control over my own health. And then I was ready. Because I went through my own experience that humbled me completely and helped me understand what my clients are going through when they come to me seeking advice.
That is an incredible story. Let me ask you this. That's obviously a major major zombie, a major overcoming, and it sounds like it really solidified. Before we take this quick break, what one zombie do you see that you overcome? I know you well enough to know there's a number of challenges that you powered through, because you are a warrior. You are a warrior on, as I said before, on so many levels. Tell me, what one thing in that journey, after you decided to go down the path of changing the world the way you have, and you are, what was the hardest thing for you to overcome?
I'll try not to cry. The blind faith that I had in the medical system. And the realization that we have been all blinded, to a point where we forgot where we came from, and we forgot how beautiful creation is. So for me, it was a huge wake-up call to realize that we need to use our discernment. We need to listen to our inner voice, and we need to question everything and not accept things at face value. So that was one of the biggest things.
That's a huge zombie, and I think that that's a big challenge today. And I'm not even going to talk about which side of which argument you're on. I think that you've highlighted one of those things that I've had to go on my own journey, as you know, as I said, it's not the things that I don't know that were killing me. It's some of the things that I thought I knew or I had confidence in that simply just weren't true. And once you learn those things and you begin to see, in some cases, that the emperor has no clothes, that you can't unsee it. Yeah. And so it's very, very hard. And I appreciate the emotion there, because you were very clear that you had a lot of confidence in the system as it was. And it's really hard when all of a sudden that part of your world is rocked. Okay, well, we're gonna take a quick break. We've gone a little longer on this segment because I wanted to hear her story. I wanted you to get her background. And when we go into the next segment, we're going to talk a lot more about some of the things that she sees in today, as well as where she is with her practice, and some things that we can learn as an audience. So we'll hear a little bit of Ricky Jean Wright, and It's Not the Getting There, and then we'll be right back with Ronit Moore and more of Warrior versus Zombie.
But the miles become the teacher, while the student learns real slow, traveling blind most of the time. Wherever you go, it's not the getting there, it's the journey every day. It's not a race to see how many people.
All right, welcome back. We are here at Warrior versus Zombie with Dr. Ronit Moore. We got to hear a lot about her journey, her background, the experiences she's had, and a lot about why she's doing what she's doing and the value. But I really want to talk about, Ronit, where are you now and where are you going? And we can also talk about any challenges that you're experiencing moving forward today. But I really want to talk about the value you provide and the things that you're finding are really important and will be important to people in our audience.
Okay. So right now I have a private practice where I see clients. Most of them have chronic conditions, multiple chronic conditions or autoimmune conditions, and most of them are in a reactive mode. They for many years they followed the conventional advice, and they did everything they were told to do, including taking multiple drugs on top of multiple drugs and doing surgeries and all kind of invasive procedures. But instead of getting better, they are just getting worse. So most of them are just waking up to the realization that maybe they need to try something different in order to get different results. Maybe they need to try something different. So those are the type of people that I see. And I also work very closely with Dr. Russ Skinner. He's an MD, and he has a wellness center, a family practice and wellness center in Plano, Texas. And I actually work with him in his clinic. So twice a week, I'm in his clinic seeing his patients and advising them on lifestyle and nutritional changes. So that's most of what I'm doing right now. In addition, I also manage my Wellbeing Compass, which is the educational website that I launched 2 years ago. And Dr. Skinner and I also have a tool that I developed that both of us are using in his clinic and in my clinic. And we have a bunch of functional doctors in the Metroplex that are using this functional tool. It's an assessment tool. I didn't mention that originally I am a computer scientist. So even though I made the switch to alternative medicine, still that analytical part of my brain is still working. And so I developed that tool, and both of us are now in a process of taking this tool to big businesses to use it. So if I can take just a step back, I mentioned a few things here about.
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about you've used some terms that I'm not sure everybody that would be listening to this. One of them is you've talked about a functional approach a number of times. And you've also talked about, you mentioned my body score and the algorithm and stuff. But tell me about just functional versus you're working with a medical doctor, but yet you have a functional and what you called or termed an integrative practice. And I think that's fascinating because that is also part of, I know, my Wellbeing Compass, how it all comes together to serve the person in the middle, which is hopefully the client. I like to use I think you use the word client. I like to hear the word client because the best outcome for a patient is to never be one. So we don't want to be a patient because that means in our normal way of thinking, that means we're sick. There's something wrong, something acute. And so anyway, so talk a little bit about that for us.
Okay, so first of all, one of the things that came out of my journey many years ago is that I learned to appreciate both of the systems, okay? So I'm a naturopath that actually works with medical doctors. I believe that each one of us has a place in the healing process. We are trained differently, and we bring our we bring a lot of benefit to the end client in our own ways. So I really believe that we complement each other and we shouldn't shun each other. So that's the integrative side of things. As far as functional, so let me take just a step back and explain the difference between the two philosophies. So in the mainstream medicine, doctors are trained to look at symptoms as symptoms are the problems. Let's suppress, attack, do everything in our power to get rid of. In the functional approach, we are trained to look at the body as a magnificent creation. The body has an inherent capacity to self-balance, self-correct, self-heal, all on its own. And the body communicates to us through symptoms. So the symptoms are the messengers. They are not the problems. They are just signals. They are flags. They are wake-up calls of your body telling you that something deeper is off balance. Something deeper is is not right. So if you keep attacking the symptom, it's basically like killing the messenger, right? Does it help to kill the messenger? I don't think so, because the message is still there, right? We didn't pay attention to the message. So the main difference between the functional and the mainstream approach is that we look at the symptom as a signal, and we are like detectives. We try to understand what does the symptom represent on a much deeper level, and then address the root cause of the symptom. So right now it's very trendy to say root cause, and that's what it's meant by that term. So what is the cause? What caused your body to express that symptom? Once you take care of it, guess what happens? The symptom disappears, your body is happy again, your body is thriving again. So that's the functional approach. The second characteristic of a functional approach is that we try our best to use non-invasive methods. So we look at your lifestyle, at your nutrition, mental and emotional patterns. We look at the 360 degree called you, and we give you tools and advice on making better choices, taking better choices in your life.
That's a great explanation. That really gives me clarity, and also it also lays a good foundation. So those of you who have listened to us before, you know that we go into a segment where we talk about this, but then I'm going to, because of unique approach and some of the ideas and thoughts, I want to really hear, I don't think we have a lot of naturopathic doctors weighing in on how that we can prepare ourselves as we emerge from COVID-19, emerge from our lockdown and all this stuff, and how do we go forward, and how can paying attention to some of the things that Dr. Moore has learned, as well as other functional practitioners, and just I'd really like to get a couple of nuggets or insights here for our audience about things that we can do as we move forward out of this lockdown. And you can also feel free to share your point of view about things that may or may not be effective going forward as well. So we're going to take another quick break. This is Warrior versus Zombie, and we're going to talk to Ronit more when we get back. So let's hear a little more of Mickey Jean Wright.
How many people know your name? One day you realize time was worth more than the gold. It's not the getting there. When you get there, you'll know. Funny how wisdom and youth are always two different games.
All right, we're back with Warrior versus Zombie, and this is an amazing conversation with a true warrior, Ronit Moore. And now we're going to talk about this bonus segment that I talked about in terms of what can we do in the environment that we're all living in right now with all these things, and help us make some sense out of that and some sense about how we go forward, and each of us to find our way out of this so we're not back locked down again at some point in time. Dr. Moore, tell us about your perspective on this.
Yeah. So first of all, for me, I think that when in the future, when all of this is going to be behind us, one of the biggest things that will come out of COVID-19 is that we will realize that it was I call it a lifestyle epidemic, or a lifestyle virus, okay? Because if you look at which people are affected most by the virus, those are the people with the most compromised immune system. And then if you take a step back and try to investigate why their immune system is compromised, then you get to root causes. And the root causes are always, or I should say 80 to 90% of the times, are because of lifestyle choices. So it is a lifestyle related virus. So first I want people to understand a few things about the immune system and about microbes. So the notion that viruses are dangerous and should be eliminated from the body is absolutely ludicrous. From an evolutionary perspective, we would be extinct as a species were it not for the viral component of our immune system. Our evolutionary process depends on the change in the viral component that makes up our system. Viruses are not alive and they are not dead. They are just RNA and DNA fragments, okay? And they are there just to introduce stress into our system, introduce periods of burdens. And when our system overcomes them, then our system is stronger, okay? So I think that I would like to, again, take a step back and just answer a few questions before I answer the big questions. So first of all, I'm sure many of you have heard about homeostasis. So what is homeostasis? Basically, homeostasis refers to your body's ability to regulate itself and maintain a stable internal environment despite of external and internal conditions and events. Okay? In other words, that's your body's capacity to maintain balance no matter what. Okay, when your immune system is in good shape, then the rest of your body takes care of itself. All of your systems work properly. You don't even have to think about it. Viruses come, viruses go. You don't even have to think about it. Your immune system knows what to do, right? But what happens is stress. And in our case, in our modern society, what happens is we have chronic stress. So our immune system knows how to deal with intermittent stress, okay? But when we have a chronic state of stress, it basically suppresses the immune system. So the immune system is no longer capable of operating when we are in that state. Guess what? We are in that state for 2 months now. We are locked down. We are scared. I mean, I'm not, but most of us are, right? So we are locked down, scared. We cannot hug. We cannot touch. We have to wear a mask. We have to put gloves. We have to sterilize our environment nonstop. That's very stressful. And guess what happens when you are stressed? Your immune system is suppressed. It's not going to do what it needs to do. So the next question that I wanted to answer is, what is resilience? So resilience is the ability to recover quickly from illness, change, or misfortune. The ability to adapt in the face of trauma, adversity, tragedy, or even significant ongoing stressors. So where we would like to be is to develop resilience. And the only way we can develop resilience is understand a few basic things about the immune system. Okay, understand that the immune system is mostly composed of bacteria and viruses. Okay, understand that the immune system already has the capacity and the mechanisms to help us heal on a deeper level, and understand that what we need to do is start learning a little bit more about basic things that we can implement in our life to take care of ourselves and strengthen the immune system so we can achieve resilience. Because stress will come and go, right? We will always have things that will stress us and take us off balance. The point is to come in and out of stress and not stay in a state of stress, okay? So there are a few basic things that we can all do to take care of our immune system. Really basic things, okay? So the first thing is we need to hydrate. What a sublime concept, right? I mean, we need to drink water. Not energy drinks, not coffee, not diet sodas, okay? Water. We need to drink water. Our body is between 65 and 70% water. Our brains are 75% water. Do you know what happens when we don't drink enough water? We are starving our body. We are impacting our immune system, and we are causing a lot of issues. physiological issues. So we need to drink water. I can see you, Dave, drinking water now. So the second thing is to eat healthy. So what does it mean to eat healthy? There is no really one formula for all of us, okay? Each one of us needs to find what eating healthy means for them. Okay, so, but there are a few things that you can do that are really healthy for everyone, like eliminating sugar and simple carbs. Sugar is an inflammatory substance. It suppresses the immune system. So eliminate sugar, eliminate pasta, eliminate breads, eliminate gluten. Most of us are sensitive to gluten, even though we don't realize it. Eat lots of vegetables, eat leafy greens. You know, what you have heard all your life, you know. So learn more about nutrition and how to eat healthy. Third, take high quality supplements, but don't take supplements as though it's medicine, attacking symptoms with supplements rather than with drugs. First, take care of the fundamental of drinking enough water, eating healthy, and then supplement wisely. Okay, I recommend to always supplement with A, B, C, D, and zinc. Okay, those supplements will always support and boost your immune system. Next is sleep hygiene. How many people, especially in the last 2 months, have been really not sleeping that well because you stay up late and then you wake up in the middle of the night? And so you need to go to sleep early, remove all interferences, and make sure that you get at least 8 hours of sleep, really restful sleep a day. When you're asleep, that's when your body detoxifies. Your body does so much work. Your immune system does so much work when you're asleep. So go to sleep and sleep restfully for at least 8 hours. And when you wake up, first thing you do, drink 16 ounces of water. That would help your body detoxify all the toxins that it generated overnight. The fifth thing that I recommend is moving. You don't have to be an athlete. You don't have to be a triathlon champion. Just move, even walk, okay? Do a little bit yoga, do some stretches, but move. Make sure you are not sitting on your chair for hours and hours at a time. Get off the chair and walk a little bit. Walk down.
Yeah, that's one of the hard things this time. I'm going to interrupt you there for a second because that's one of the things that I've had the experience now that we're doing everything via Zoom and trying to meet with people. You don't even get out of your office or your home or your apartment. So and then we stay inside. I mean, the weather's beautiful out there. I'm assuming you're going to move to
getting out and staying and spending some time in the sun. The sun is an incredible ally. It's your friend. It's not your enemy. Don't be scared of the sun. Spend some time in the sun. Let your body soak the sun so it can generate natural vitamin D that your immune system can actually use, not a pill that your immune system doesn't know what to do with. Okay. And the last thing is be nice to yourself. Be nice to yourself and be nice to everyone around you. And when I say it, I mean, just do your best to be more in a positive mood. Keep your emotions in check because your emotions are translated into chemicals into your body. So what chemicals would you want to be flowing in your body? Positive, happy chemicals or negative, irritable, not nice chemicals? Okay, I'm just putting it simply, but really your your psychology becomes to your biology. So pay attention to your psychology. I understand that all of us are very worried and I've been looking on all the posts on Facebook. There are so many negative things to focus on right now and be upset with. But you know what? There are also wonderful things to focus on. How about people are waking up? That's a beautiful thing. I'm seeing many, many zombies waking up right now. So that's a beautiful thing that we can be grateful for. How about being grateful for spending so much quality time with our family? That's priceless. When I go outside, I see family walking together. I haven't seen this in many, many years. So I'm sure we can find reasons to be nice and to be grateful. And that's a major immune booster to be in a gratitude mode rather than upset, angry, and frustrated. Okay. So those are some of my thoughts about, I call it back to basics, I really believe that it's not that complicated. It's just very few basic things that we can learn to do, implement them slowly, incrementally, step by step,
Right.
one foot in front of the other, just small, minor,
I love
basic
it.
um, steps that we can take in our lives toward a healthier us.
Awesome. Well, this is a great place for this special segment to take a break and come into our final segment, which is where we'll be talking about how to get in touch with you. I'm going to ask you kind of a signature question, which is what one thing, if we could take one thing away from your talk today, and you've covered a lot of ground. And so much so that I feel like I may have to bring you back for another episode here to drill down into maybe some of these things. But it all makes so much sense. So I'm gonna after the break, we're gonna come back and hear a little bit of kind of bring it to the one thing. If we could take one thing away from this, what would it be? And then I want you to tell the audience how that they can follow up with you in between your visits to Warrior versus Zombie, and how we can get more from Dr. Ronit Moore. So we'll be right back with another little interlude by Ricky Jean Wright.
Funny how wisdom and youth are always two different games. The years flew by so fast, is the common human complaint. The memories in our minds turn to diamonds in our soul, and by the grace of God.
All right, we're back for the final segment of Warrior versus Zombie, and my head's spinning, but it's an amazing journey that we've been on, and I'm excited to hear the question that I had asked, the answer to the question that I had asked just before we took a break of Dr. Moore is, what one thing, or it could be two, whatever you want, but what one thing would you want us each to, of all the things that you said, to make sure we take away from this
The main thing
podcast
is,
today?
that's the main thing that I learned in my life. Your body is truly magic. It is unbelievably resilient and is designed to self-correct imbalances and heal itself all on its own. It's designed to take a hit and come back stronger and stronger and stronger. You're meant to thrive, not just survive. So just take the first step. Take the first step toward that thriving. Envision it. Keep it in front of you. Keep that vision in front of you, and start taking one small step at a time. Whether it be starting to move a little bit, or drink water, or seek professional help. We have wonderful functional practitioners all over the Metroplex that can help you and give you advice, help you understand the root causes of why your immune system is not thriving. And believe your immune system will thrive. I've seen cases that everyone gave up on, everyone, and those people within 3 to 4 months of following very basic guidelines are thriving, healthy, reversed incurable, quote unquote incurable conditions. It is possible. Believe in yourself, believe in God. You are an amazing creation. And please don't be afraid. Just release fear from your system, because fear will suppress your system.
Wow, that's beautiful. It really goes along with the whole theme that it's a journey, not a destination. When we talk about this, and that's the thing, is there's not a magic pill. I've heard it. You say it in many different ways, but what we have to work with, both our mind, body, and spirit, are miraculous creation, and that we just need to believe that and take care of that, and it'll take care of us. So that's a beautiful way to end it. So Ronit, tell us, how can we continue to get more from you out after we leave here today? Tell me about how can we contact you, where can we get more information, whatever.
Okay,
how can we do that?
so my website is my name, Ronit More, RONITMORND, ronitmorend.com, and you can read about me and read about all the services that I offer in my clinic. I have a team of professionals here and different services, and also there is another website called mywellbeingcompass.com. It's an incredible website to start educating yourself and empowering yourself with knowledge. So those are the two websites that you can turn and start there.
So start, and the My Wellbeing Compass, as I understand that you said, is actually an educational site, so we can get information on that site to help us of all different ways of helping us on our journey.
Yes,
is that correct?
Start the journey. I actually created an interactive tool called My Wellbeing Compass. It's a compass, and it's a visual tool that interacts with you and start helping you understand the complexity of your health, because your health is multidimensional and multi-layered. It's not just one thing. There are so many components to it. So the compass helps you visualize and understand the components of your health and how you really need to take care of all of the components to reach equilibrium, to reach this homeostasis that I talked about, and to reach resilience and start thriving again. So you can start with the compass. There is an amazing blog with incredible articles. There is also a directory of functional practitioners, both from the Western medicine world and alternative medicine. So you have access to those practitioners. You can read about them and see who you are connecting with and get in touch with them and ask them to start helping you. Seek help, don't self-diagnose and self-prescribe. Go to people that are trained. You take your car to a mechanic and your hair to a hairstylist. Take your body to a functional health practitioner that can help you.
That's awesome. Well, thank you again, Dr. Moore. I also, in a future episode, I know on that website you've got my body score, which is a great starting point to kind of get all of it together. We don't even really have time to go into detail there, but that's such a fascinating tool that you'll find on My Wellbeing Compass as well. And as she said, there's 50 practitioners there of all different ilks. It'll be awesome would be willing to guide you on your journey. So again, thank you, Dr.
Thank you very
Moore,
much, Dave,
for being here with us today. I know that you're going to change some lives for those that choose to listen and heed and put into practice some of the things that you've talked about today. And I'm so honored that you would take the time to share that with our audience. So let's land the plane. This is Warrior versus Zombie. And if you want to, I would ask that if you like this episode, please share it. You can find it. I don't know what platform you're looking on: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Spreaker, Castbox, Deezer, 10 different platforms. Just please listen, download, subscribe, share, and you can reach out to me on myvisionwarrior.com if you'd like to be a guest or you'd like to get more information about future podcasts. And you can find me on @myvisionwarrior on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook. So with that, you guys have a beautiful day, and we'll close out with the final segment of It's Not Getting There by Ricky Jean Wright.
It's not the getting there, it's the journey every day. It's not a race to see how many people know your name. One day you realize time was worth more than the gold. It's not the getting there, when you get there you'll know. One day you realize time was worth more than the gold. It's not the getting there, when you get there you'll know.